Hello, I'm Barry Aycock, and welcome to Barry Interesting. Our guest today is Brittney Turner. She's an agricultural photographer, artist, and advocate for agriculture. Brittney, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Brittney, this is a big agricultural area here, southeast Missouri, northeast Arkansas. You're going to get a lot of views on this. People are going to be excited to talk about your career here, you talking about your career. But before you became an agricultural photographer and artist, what did Brittney do before your new career?
I worked at Stevens and Little Rock in investment banking, and then I fell in love with photography, and so I started doing that, and I did people photography for a few years, and then I was in an art show. I wanted to showcase modern agriculture in the Delta, and I was only going to do it for 3 months, and 8 years later, here I am.
So investment banking to being an agricultural photographer, artist, that's a pretty long stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, I did art in college, so that was, the art part I guess was always there.
And
I just kind of suppressed it maybe.
You went to University of Arkansas?
Yes, at Fayetteville.
So you went from investment banking and you woke up one day and said, I'm in love with agricultural photography, artwork, this is going to be my new career. So once you made that decision, what was your first step?
I did people first, kids was the easiest. So all my friends had kids, so it was pretty easy to, take pictures of them. And I was good at it. So once I got my first,
But it was a long stretch because you didn't grow up on a farm, right?
No, I don't even know why I chose modern technology and agriculture. I have no idea. I could not tell you that. I would not have even told you that I was going to like it. So I was just trying to sell pictures at an art show, to be honest.
So is it something?
And I did not sell one picture.
You just fell in love with it?
I was only going to do it for 3 months. I started in August, was going to be done by November.
So can anybody be a photographer or an artist? How does someone get started if they want to be a photographer or an artist?
I taught myself, so some people take classes. I don't know.
So you're self-taught. Was there a lot of trial and error with that?
There's places you can take classes online, and you get what you pay for, so
were you taking a lot of pictures and throwing them away the first year or two?
I didn't come along until the digital age, so it's just delete. So that was, that was a big advantage. And I look back at my first agriculture pictures, and I was like, I didn't even know, the crops look terrible. I didn't even know, they just look bad.
So when did you evolve into photography, then agricultural photography? You said you've been doing it for 8 years. When did that evolve?
I probably have been doing photography for, over 10, 12 years, maybe. There's a couple that I did their wedding. So I always know when they post their anniversary on Facebook, that's how I know. But otherwise, I really don't keep up with it. That was the first thing I photographed.
That's a good benchmark on when you started then, the wedding, the famous wedding.
Yes.
Tell us about some of your favorite experiences photographing anything agriculture.
Probably the most thing I enjoy is learning about agriculture, and then going and telling people that don't know as much about agriculture. I lived in Memphis for a long time. Of course, people in the city don't know much about it. So, I always enjoyed sharing stories, and, I always invite them out to the farm, but they don't ever show up.
There's a little bit of agricultural education, agricultural awareness, because like you just said, a lot of city and suburban children don't know where their food comes from.
Right.
Milk, groceries, clothes. It doesn't all come from Walmart. It comes from the American farmer.
Yes.
So it's a little bit of a crusade for you because you do want to teach that agricultural education and awareness. And I commend you for that because everybody needs to know where their food comes from. So Brittney, there's not always a story behind your photographs, but there is a story behind some of them, and this is one of them. So tell us the story behind this photo.
This one was, I took it my first 3 months, but now my first year.
You're just a rookie.
Yes. And it was one that I wanted to get. And so I think this may have been their last field, and I had followed these guys for, the 3 months. And so I asked them if they would line up, because that was a picture that I wanted. And so kind of got lucky. They happened to have all 3 combines, one field. This was it. So they lined up for me. I got luckier. Somebody was burning a rice field behind it at sunset. That's what makes the purple kind of pink color.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So it all came together. And I climbed out the sunroof of my car. And so I have a different car now, but eventually I'll probably stand on the roof of this one too. But I always climbed out the sunroof of my car, stand on, because my dad told me I couldn't have a 20-foot ladder.
So that's a hot tip for photographers is a sunroof in their car.
Yes, that's a must. So I would climb out the sunroof, and I was so happy. And I think I remember the guys telling me that they could see from the field, they were in the combine, they knew how happy I was.
So you the choreography actually worked this time. I nailed this one.
Yes, I was so happy.
So you were high-fiving yourself.
Yes, I was. So,
Brittney, what's the story behind this photo?
it was taken in Crittenden County, Arkansas during planting season, and I noticed the moon and the star and the sunset. Everything was right, and I raced up there. You can see the farmers, and raced up there in my car, and I put my camera on the ground because I didn't have a tripod and to keep it still because it was really dark. But I was really happy to get that picture, and it's always been one of my favorites. And actually, I have a copy of that one hanging in my house.
So Brittney, it looks like you're always looking for that perfect shot, and the sky really is important for your agricultural photos. Is that true?
Yes. Sometimes it's just luck, and sometimes I feel like if you're out there every day, you're eventually going to get the good shots.
Well, this is one I think you might be able to see again, but the one before this, the purple one, I think you'd be better off trying to hit the lottery.
Maybe.
Let's move on to the next one. Brittney, just like your other photos that we've looked at, the background and the sky and the sunset really means a lot to what you photograph. So tell us what's going on here with this photo.
It was taken, same farm, Crittenden County, Arkansas. I love this picture because to me, I see motion here with the light. Maybe nobody else sees it, but I see it. Mm-hmm. And this particular farmer, I worked for him for a year. And when we finished the project, I remember he asked me, "Are you proud of what you've done?" And this is the picture I always think of. I was like, yes, I'm so proud.
Well, so it's got to be a good feeling for
yes.
any photographer, right?
Yes. And this was kind of when he asked me that question, and I was, yes, that was the picture I thought of.
We're going to talk about this farmer a little bit later because he hired you to do a very big project for him. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Brittney, your art goes beyond just the camera. You also paint.
Yes.
When did you get into painting?
I guess I've always been into painting, and in college I have a minor in art. And for years I painted pet portraits, dogs, cats. And then as I got into agri-photography, of course, it's just natural that I would paint agriculture scenes. And I've done different landscapes for people. Most of my work is commissions, And right now I'm working on a really large piece that is an aerial of a farm that, like, they took the picture from an airplane and I'm painting it. And it's really neat, and I've wanted to do one of those for a while.
How do you pick your subjects for painting? Does it come to you? Do people come to you? Do you wake up in the middle of the night and say, I'm going to paint that tomorrow?
I keep trying to do that, but, most of my stuff is like commissioned work. So people, will ask me to paint something, and every time that I have an idea right now of some things that I want to do for me, but, I have several other commissions that came in, so I have to do those first. So, and then maybe I will get to some of the stuff that I would like to do.
Brittney, back in the old days, I used to collect Jack Deloney prints. He was commissioned by Bayer Chemical. I think he had 7 prints he done specifically for Bayer Chemical Company. I finally have all 7 after trying to collect all 7 for 30 years. But is that the type of stuff you want to get into, or do you already do that kind of stuff for different agrochemical companies?
Mostly just farmers. I've done, like one farmer has a lot of my artwork and pictures in his office. Some others, like, they have a lot of the paintings in their office or shop.
So Brittney, we've looked at a lot of your photos, but let's talk about a piece of your artwork here that you painted yourself.
Yes.
Give us the story behind this. This is a great story. Everybody loves red barns.
I actually had a picture of that on my website. And one Saturday morning, I got a call from California. I actually got 4. Kept calling my number. And
you would have thought that was a telemarketer.
Yes. So didn't answer it. For whatever reason, I do not know why. It must have been an accident. I listened to the voicemail. And it was a guy from California. He said he was a location scout. He was getting on a plane to Memphis. His assistant was going to keep trying to contact me, but he needed to know where that barn was. He couldn't tell me why at the time. So we made contact. I told him where the barn was. Eventually, Volkswagen did a commercial there, and it is outside of Tuckerman, Arkansas. The barn has since been dismantled, but it's in Jackson. It was in Jackson County. So
that's a great story.
Yeah.
But like I said, everybody loves red barns, and there's plenty of them. I don't know why they had to exactly have this one, but it's a great story anyway.
Thank you.
Brittney, this has to be a big seller at like the Memphis Mid-South Farm and Gin Show or the Beltwide Cotton Conference. Tell us what you got going on here with the stages of cotton.
It's just the different stages of cotton, and I painted that a few years ago, and I've actually sold it on quite a few t-shirts, note cards, actually playing cards, and I'm trying to think what else. Quite a few things, really.
Well, I've got good news and bad news for you.
Yes.
According to how you look at it. This one's going to be staying with me today.
Oh, wonderful.
No, I love this one. I know it's going to be a big seller for you. Probably already is, but yeah, everybody in the cotton industry loves the stages of cotton.
Yes.
Yes. Great job with this one.
Thank you.
Well, one thing I want to talk about before we close is you actually documented with photos.
Yes.
Is it Fogelman Farms?
Yes.
It's a book of photos of their whole farming operation for one whole year, correct?
Yes.
Actually, it's not for a year, it's their lifetime. So you
Yes.
actually documented their whole heritage, their ancestry, their whole farming operation from the day they had a photo of great-great-grandpa to today, correct?
Yes. So usually I start with planting. I mean, if it's for a farmer, I will start with planting season. And they kind of give them time to get together. Like, they put in historic documents, photographs, whatever. They'll usually do that during growing season. During that time, I'll digitize that, put it online. They can go kind of pick out narrow it down what they want to have in the book. But it is digitized. So if they want to share it with any other family members or anyone, they can do that pretty easily. And then I continue on through harvest. And really, I start with the book is a blank page. I design everything on it. I mean, it's up to them, how it ends up. But, yes. So it's about 1,500 pictures or more. And I just follow them for the whole year. And they can put whatever they want in the book.
This is really, really impressive. I don't know anybody that actually does this, but I know our viewers can't really see the detail in it, but there's all kinds of things in here. Just the heritage of this family farm. I mean, how old is this farming operation?
I think it started in 1859.
And there's all kinds of historical
It says
things.
in the beginning, and he wanted his mostly, pictures, and then we have an index in the back that describes each one. And in the beginning, we did a history of, the family history. And then,
There's a good historical page right there.
yeah, and his favorite part is all the mistakes they have made and the wrecks and stuff like that. And that's in the back of the book. So he wanted to include that as well.
So it truly is a historical, photographic history of the Fogelman Farms family.
Yes.
And how far did that family go back to farming?
I think it's in the front of the book. I think it's 1859.
But farming is historical. I mean, it's hereditary, it's ancestral. There's so many farm families out there that have generations and generations of farming.
Yes.
It's been their livelihood their whole life, and it just keeps getting handed down to generation to generation. And you've documented that for this family in photos.
Yes.
That's amazing. And this is a service that you provide with your photography business.
Yes.
And we won't get into the pricing of it. I'm sure it's not cheap because you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. But
And really, it's different for everyone depending on, how many books they order, and what, how they customize it. So.
and there's so many families around here that I could just think of right here in a 30-mile radius. It's their grandpa farmed, their great-grandpa farmed, or the boll weevil run them out of Mississippi and they're in Missouri because of the boll weevil. So.
And it's not only the book. I mean, it is all digitized. I put it on a website. So, if you have a cousin that lives in Mississippi and they don't have access to, to any of the physical pictures that you have of your grandparents, I mean, you can easily share that with them. And, it's always there.
This would be a great gift for any grandpa's birthday or Christmas present or anniversary because it can cover so many generations.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm impressed with that. That
Thank
took
you.
a lot of time.
Yes. It's probably one of the things I'm most proud of. So.
And Brittney, we're going to kind of wrap up here today. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
We've got some of your artwork displayed here. I hope we can zoom in on it here where everybody can see it. But do you have a website people can see your artwork?
Yes, it is www.brittneyturner.com. And my parents did not know how to spell Brittney. It's Brittney.
And you're also very active on Twitter because
Yes,
You're
I'm very
involved.
active on Twitter.
you're involved in a lot of causes for agriculture. Let's name a few.
I also work for Farm Voice, and we advocate for row crop farmers in Arkansas.
And you're with Cotton.
I've worked with my photography. I have worked with Cotton USA. So
Brittney Turner, ladies and gentlemen. Brittney, thank you for being on Very Interesting.
thank you so much. It was great being here.
Been interesting. I mean, you've really, really showed us a lot of great photographs. You've showed us a lot of great pieces of artwork, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.